Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We are the Quality Control Chicks. And yeah, we've been having some fun lately. We went to a really cool movie screening last night. We got invited by the Final Girls Film Club. And shout out to them because they organize a whole... Sorry, Jack. I talk with my hands.
It's all good.
Yeah, they're so cool. They organize a bunch of like screenings for all kinds of fun female-driven horror movies.
Yeah, they do like one a month. We've been to the Scream one previous, and then this one they got... Warner Brothers contacted them and was like, do you guys want a bunch of free tickets to an advanced screening of the movie Companion? And they were like, hell yeah. And then they posted on their socials and I went, hell yeah. And then I got 2 tickets and yeah, we went last night. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great. They had like, fun promotional stuff. We get fun photos, which we kind of posted on our story for the Instagram page.
And I will also edit in here, but then I will probably also put it in the behind the scenes for this week as well. So watch for that.
Yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun. We're going to try and be very minimal with spoilers because it comes out in a week.
Yes.
But it was fun.
It was fun. Yeah.
It was a good ride.
It was a good time. It was, they were like Warner Brothers. It was like one of those screenings where they had like cameramen or camera people walking around recording the audience's reactions to the film. So somewhere down the line, we may find ourselves in some sort of Warner Brothers promo for the movie. So that'll be interesting, kind of cool. You'll get to see maybe our reactions to certain stuff.
Yeah, there were a couple moments where you and I just both looked at each other like, what?
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. But in terms of like the movie itself, like definitely for anyone who wants to watch it, like go in blind. That's the best way, I think, to watch this film.
Yeah, you don't want to really have had any indication of what's going to happen. Because that's the best way to go into most movies, I feel like. But especially if I feel like a good rule of thumb for horror is try to go in blind in general, because you really don't want to potentially have anything like spoiled.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And, I've had it where like, because it's the creators of the like Barbarian, which we also really loved. And it's a super fun, crazy film as well. I remember the trailer for that. Like, I had no idea what it was going to be about.
Oh, yeah.
They were pretending it was a love story, and you're like, okay, what's really going on? And just completely like goes off the rails. So yeah, I kind of didn't know if it was going to be like that. And then, if you can, try not to watch the trailer. Like, just go watch it. And then, you can tell us what you think.
Yeah, let us know how you felt about Companion. It is still really cool to get to see a movie like ahead of when it comes out anyway, because I've said before and recently how like I'm a little over theater etiquette, or lack of theater etiquette. I feel like people don't really have it anymore. So when you go to a screening like this, like it's people who really want to be there. It's also was a press screening, so there was press there, and Warner Brothers was like really cracking down on people who were taking phones out and things like that. So you really didn't get anybody like filming TikToks or being disruptive, which was like the best way to see a movie. Yeah. So that was also really great. It was like kind of best case scenario for seeing a movie, especially a horror movie in the theater.
Yeah. And, being like you're not allowed to touch your phone, like the number of times I've gone to the theater and like the person beside me or in front of me, screen super bright, looking at a message. I'm like, come on.
I saw Scream 6 in the theater, and when a big scene with Courtney Cox came up, people were taking flash photos of her face and laughing and like filming TikToks and stuff. And I was like,
awful.
The only reason I saw it in the theater, aside from being a big Scream fan, as you well know if you watch and or listen to the episodes of this podcast, I just didn't want it spoiled for me. So I was like, I have to see it in the theater or I'm going to know what happens. And I was so mad when I got home. I was like, I still, enjoyed the movie for what it was, but like, I don't like being distracted when I'm paying money to go sit and watch something. I mean, we went to this screening for free, but still. I feel like people don't have good theater etiquette anymore, and thankfully it didn't happen this time.
It was a great audience.
Yeah, it really was.
And little fun thing, Jack Quaid also came out at the end.
Yeah, came and did a quick little Q&A.
No blood on me today, thank God. But no, we're not playing around with the fake blood as much. This was just such an amazing cast of people. Like, I'm a fan of everyone in this movie, and I think it's always a good sign when you're looking around and you're like, I love everybody here. I'm such a big fan of everybody here. Forces everyone to like raise their game. But off camera, you just goof around. You really do. And this cast was no exception. A lot of drunken karaoke, which was wonderful. The thing that I think Drew Hancock, the writer-director, really clued into really well is that it's not necessarily about technology being an inherently good or bad thing. It's how we humans choose to use it. And inevitably, we fuck it up all the time. It just happens. So, that was kind of my main takeaway.
And took some pictures with both sides of the people sitting in the theater, which I really appreciated. Mm-hmm. We were in the front part, which is like the kind of the shitty part of the theater to be sitting in. We weren't like, necks tilted back looking up at the screen the whole time, but like you kind of want to be on part of the incline.
Yeah.
But I think the promoters got the sense like, okay, we should take a picture with this side and then come over here and take a picture with this side so everybody gets in there.
Yeah.
So that was really cool too.
Yeah, good experience. Hope we can do that again. That would be awesome.
That would be super fun.
And we also saw a fellow film school member who now works, I think, hopefully I'm not getting this wrong, but he was staff with Warner Brothers for the screening.
At least part of like facilitating the like crowds and stuff at the event. Don't know if he actually works for Warner Brothers, but he was representing them at the very least. So that was also very cool.
He also likes to watch and listen to our podcast. So
he does. So if you're still...
shout out to Derek.
If you weren't lying, shout out to Derek.
We appreciate it.
We do. We appreciate the support either way.
Yeah.
What we're getting into first is recent sightings. Maybe that'll be a new thing.
Yeah.
If we see, if we don't see anything, but...
little while.
There was nothing in Companion, so that movie's safe for now.
Yeah, did not notice anything.
I'll definitely watch it again because I know my partner will want to watch it as well. But my companion will want to watch it as well. But didn't notice anything the first time around. But one movie I did watch recently was Alien Romulus.
Yes, same.
It's on Disney Plus, so that's how I streamed it. And actually, Jack, if you want to chime in, this is all your thing.
Because you noticed
spotted
something.
This one.
Oh, but okay.
And you're a fellow
So I have to preface
QCC
this that I'm not as much of a creep as it's gonna make me seem. But
yeah,
there was a very clear lav mic in frame, right in center frame of our star in a big. Was Kaylee Spaney, right?
That's Kaylee Spaney, yeah.
Yeah, you could see, and like obviously, usually lav mics are sometimes like black because it's easier to conceal, but like. Obviously, I think it was a skin-colored one this time around to help because she has a...
She's wearing like the white tank top that's like notably worn by...
female protagonists in horror movies,
usually.
Yeah.
So you weren't just looking there. You just...
Exactly, but Lisa was like, I didn't notice it. I was like, okay, maybe I'm just a creep.
I mean, I wasn't looking there, so...
It was center frame. I was watching the movie.
You were watching the movie.
That's okay.
And then I happened to see something that looked like a wart on someone's chest. So.
And Jack was concerned about said wart, so we finished the movie and then we rewound to go see said wart.
Said wart.
Said wart was a lav mic, so...
Well, I mean, to be fair, you're in audio and you look for stuff like that, so...
Yeah.
It's okay, Jack. We'll let you off the hook on that one.
Yeah, because I see that. I see lav packs in the butts. Not in the butt, but you know what I mean.
Where are you putting lav
pocket,
packs?
The butt pocket. Sorry?
Oh, yeah.
She had a lav mic in her cleavage and a mic pack in her butt.
Well, I guess I can transition right into
Sex in the City?
Sex in the City.
Yeah, that is a perfect segue.
Because there was a lav pack near her butt.
Near her butt.
Yeah, it was...
Was it like hovering?
No, it's like they had it off to the side. And she's wearing this like, it's a really cute outfit. But it's also kind of like she's got like a crop top on, which is really hard to attach a lav mic to or pack. So they had this, she has a little skirt on and this like belt. It's very, very iconic Carrie Bradshaw outfit in the show. It's season 4. And the episode is called, I think it's called Change of a Dress. Yeah.
Yes.
And she's like walking down the street and she's talking to Miranda. And at one point she like turns more towards her to talk to her. And that's when you see it. And they kind of have it tucked into her skirt and they have it on the side that's away from camera. So you're not supposed to see it. But she's walking and talking and acting and turns and you can very, very visibly see it. Yeah, I love Sex and the City because I love fashion. So I'm always looking at her outfits. Like that's the number one thing. I'm like, okay, what's Carrie wearing in this episode?
Oh yeah, the outfits are like the 5th character. There's 4 of them. I've never really watched it.
The 5th, yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's the reason why you watch Sex and the City.
Oh yeah, it's like watching Supernatural. Like the classic cars and the classic rock are like almost a tertiary or secondary character of the whole show. Like,
and unfortunately for that show, that's what it had going against it because you're looking at her outfit and you see that lav pack and it's sticking out and just her. She's got beautiful, beautiful skirt on. And the funny thing is like, notably in this episode, she's got the belt like over her belly. It's not even on the skirt. It's like over her belly.
Oh, yeah.
So like you're looking in that area already because you're like, wow, she looks great. And I'm like, oh, what is that? That's a lav pack.
oh, damn.
But yeah, that show, like they shoot in the streets of New York. So
Yeah, one of the few places I feel like actually shoots New York for New York.
yeah. So it's like they can only get so close and they have them usually like on the other side of the street and they're walking. So I mean, like our discussion with the boom mics in a previous episode, they couldn't exactly get the boom near them.
No,
so.
and I'm sure it's super loud because it's New York. So most of the lines are probably 80 yard anyway. I mean, always important to get whatever sounds you can on set anyway. So like it makes sense that she's still wearing a lav, but yeah, there's no way a boom would have picked that up. So obviously she's mic'd in another way. So damn.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a recent notice.
Carrie Bradshaw's not immune.
No.
No one is.
I know in reality TV, they're always trying to figure out how they're going to put that
It's
on.
more acceptable to see it in reality TV.
Yeah.
I feel like there's no like fourth wall to break.
Exactly, yeah. All right. So that's just what we've noticed of recent.
Yeah.
And so today we're kind of getting into other things that like noticeably stick out in a scene, specifically period pieces.
Yes. For the most part. There's a couple loose period pieces at the end of the episode, but the main ones for this one are period pieces with modern technology or objects in frame.
Yeah. And with that, it's the most notable one that was all over
Yeah, so it has 2 examples that are so bad.
Oh, yes. You want to start?
Sure. Yeah, so I will preface this again by saying, like I do every episode, apparently, I have not watched Game of Thrones. I know, I'm sorry. I've seen the important episodes. I've seen the Red Wedding. I've seen the pilot. I've seen the pivotal moments, but it's just not my kind of show. I do appreciate for what it is, and I felt really bad for all the fans when the last season came out because I know lots of people were disappointed, and I know from other shows it can really suck to love a show, and then the end of it comes, and you're like, that's what they did. But in any case, today's first 2 examples come from Game of Thrones, and that is the water bottle and the coffee cup being left in the frame.
Yeah.
Different episodes, different seasons, I think, too. Because I don't know, you've seen it.
Yeah, I did watch most of it. I actually tapped out on that last season as well.
That was probably smart.
I don't know, I was starting to get a lot with all the different characters and keeping track. And
Yeah.
Yeah, my attention span, I really struggle with that sometimes when it comes to too many characters.
Well, they sped everything up, apparently. People were just teleporting left, right, and center to locations across the country or whatever.
They really swayed from the books and stuff, too, I heard.
Oh, well, the last book wasn't written yet. They just kind of went off the rails, right?
The last two books.
Last two books, yeah.
But, yeah, everyone knows that coffee cup. It was all over the news.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, what is that? Right in front of Daenerys. And like not even, I've seen where like it'll be kind of hidden off to the side or whatever.
Well, that's like the water bottle is behind like one of their feet.
Yeah, their legs.
Yeah, so that one's a little more hidden. But yeah, you know what's funny is when I was making this outline, when I started it, this was supposed to be the first episode. Because I thought, a lot of people watch Game of Thrones and like everyone will know this mistake. And what was crazy looking back at this outline to like add to and adjust since then, this was the only one where I'd put in the outline that it made the news. Like people were like, it was newsworthy enough that this coffee cup was in the show.
Yeah.
That like, yeah, journalists were talking about it, which is crazy because, you know, you get like a person in frame or you see like a boom mic and, you know, that's not a headline, right? But because it's Game of Thrones, a QC mistake made the news. That's like that's kind of cool. Like
it's crazy. Like it was, I think people were excited because it was the most noticeable thing.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
So obvious. People who aren't even like as attuned like we are to like noticing QC mistakes were like, oh my gosh, and noticed that mistake.
Yeah.
And so everyone was like going crazy over it. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. I wish I could have watched it in real time, like with the Wednesday stuff and been like, oh my God, what was that? And like text you or somebody else being like, did you see the coffee cup?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's, I mean, again, like we always say, like it happens, you miss stuff, but that's a pretty obvious one that, I mean, maybe it was a continuous roll and someone just forgot to take it off the table. I don't know what happened there, but.
Yeah, because that can happen too, right? Like she might not, like the actress who plays Daenerys might not have known that it was even in frame because she's not always seeing the screen. So she could have just been like sitting there having her coffee waiting and they could have just been rolling and used a bit. But the fact that no one saw it front and center right in front of her in that scene, like nobody
I worked on a show before in like when I was interning, I worked on a show where there was a water bottle in a shot and we caught it before we were done prepping the episode. So I actually sat in the VFX like studio and helped paint it out before it got to air for the Game of Thrones, for the coffee cup and everything. I am curious if they fixed it or if they left it in there because it's just a fun show tidbit. Because it's on Crave, right?
Yeah, I believe they did go back. So when the episode aired, everyone was talking about it like right away. And I think that week they fixed it.
Oh, okay.
So that anyone who had watched the next week who went to try and go and look for it, it wasn't there anymore.
Gaslighting the fans. What do you mean there was a coffee cup? I don't know what you're talking about.
So they hit it pretty quick. They got on that very quickly.
That's good. That's good. I mean, it's worth removing because like it is distracting. Again, if it made the news, it's distracting to people, right? I mean, it'd be funny to know if people who like me who enjoy buying like physical media, I wonder if DVD box sets and stuff have like the original version or if they have an edited version.
Yeah, I wonder.
It'd be interesting to know.
I know. I don't yet like DVD stuff. You guys are really on that.
Yeah, I think for the next couple of examples that we have in like future outlines, if I have a physical media for it, I'm going to try and bring it in. I regretted not doing that for the Scream episodes because I have the first 3 on VHS and all of them on DVD or Blu-ray, so I should have brought some of those. But we have an episode where we're going to talk about the Goonies, which we have on VHS, so I'll bring that and that kind of thing. But don't own any of these examples, I don't think.
Oh yeah, I wanted to bring up the fact that like with the water bottle situation, because they also, aside from the coffee cup, they also had a water bottle on set, and that happens a lot in TV.
That one's more common, I feel like with the show that I was working on where we actively caught it and removed it like pre-air.
Yeah, like when I worked on set, as like when I was doing props and set dressing and stuff, the number one thing that I was having to do with each take or each time we'd bring up the camera ready to roll again was removing all the water bottles from set. Like, I had to go around and like take them off the set and like make sure that they weren't there. Because, that's what happens. Is like if there's not someone to do that or they're not actively checking for that, like it's going to be in the scene.
It's just something people do. Like if you're at a party, it's pretty typical. Like you get a water bottle and then you get distracted and then you forget where you put it. So you get another one and then, suddenly there's like 50 water bottles around you. It reminds me of Signs, the girl, Abigail Breslin's character, who leaves her like water glasses everywhere. She says they're all contaminated after like a few sips.
Yeah.
I think of that every time. I love that movie.
Yeah, it was frustrating. I'd be like, oh my gosh, why are there so many freaking water bottles? And I'd have to dump like, it would be like a full water bottle too. Yeah. Like I'm like grabbing all these. I'm like, is this yours? Does this belong to you? And no one had their name on it. And everyone's like, I don't know. So I'm like, damn it. Okay. And I start dumping them all down the sink. I'm like, what a waste.
I know.
What a waste. Like, come on. Use a reusable bottle.
Yeah, or like bring your own Stanley. I don't know. Is that what the kids drink from these days?
Stanley cups?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They were all the rage, like, I guess a year ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still are, but...
I don't know.
$50 for a...
I know, I'm sorry.
$50 for a
I'm not hip with the kids.
Cup. Well, I mean, those can also be on set, too.
That's true. But then hopefully that's actually, you know what? If we want to go a little out of order with their examples here, Little Women had a whole host of water bottles in one shot. There was a Stanley-esque like thermos water bottle and a regular water bottle, both in the same shot.
Yeah, I don't think
someone's double fisting or like
double fist that Stanley.
Better to do with water than breakfast foods.
Yes. Yeah. No dry pancakes.
No dry pancakes.
Yeah. It's like, it's funny because, I mean, it's good people are drinking water, but like, come on, put your cup away.
Or I feel like even like with color correct, it's like the Little Women example is like kind of slightly off center in a dark part of the frame. I feel like you could
it was like a dark color
correct or something.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the reusable one was a darker color. I think the other one was just like a regular plastic water bottle, so it was see-through, I guess. But yeah, that's another example. I don't think they had plastic really anything in the 1800s. Not like that anyway.
I'm pretty sure they did not.
It's interesting when you're doing research for this stuff, when you find examples that are like movie and TV adjacent, like the music video and last time we recorded, and then this time it being an example that is in like promotional pictures for a TV show, and in this case it's Downton Abbey, because in my notes I'll read the Wikipedia summary because I don't know, I've actually never seen it, but like it's like pretty popular show. So to get the time period correct, the series is set in the fictional Yorkshire country estate of Downton Abbey, which, to be honest, I always thought it was Downtown Abbey until I saw it like written out. Downton. I thought it was just prissy people being like, it's Downton.
Just saying it a fancy way.
I'm gonna go Downton today. Downton Abbey between 1912 and 1926, and it depicts the lives of the aristocratic Crawley family and their domestic servants in the post-Edwardian era and the effects that the great events of the time have on their lives and on the British social hierarchy. So early 1900s. And yeah, like the Game of Thrones and Little Women examples, one of the promo photos that was taken of two of the characters for the show, there's a water bottle on a fireplace mantelpiece, just right on in there, next to some like fancy antiques and looking all modern.
Oh yeah, and I mean, you can tell that they put effort into that set dressing. Yeah, on the mantle, like they're like, these are nice vases.
So you know, people are probably gonna be looking there, at the vases,
and then see that water bottle. Damn water bottles.
It's funny because, like, I mean, obviously, I'm sure if we could probably even scrounge together a whole episode on, like, editorial mistakes, like promotional stuff that has errors and things like that. But it's just funny because it happens for the same reason. Like, that water bottle is for the same reason it's there. And Game of Thrones and Little Women, just because someone was probably the actress that's standing right there was like, yep, okay, just one more sip, put it there.
Yeah.
But the thing with this is like, it's not an involved picture. So how that got to print without anyone seeing it is a little crazier than a movie or a TV show, because you're probably spending a lot of time like editing that one picture. So you're not so much focusing like on a single frame of a movie or TV show that often, unless you're already putting VFX on it. But for like a promo image for a show.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of eyes are staring at a still promo image.
Yeah.
Like, it's different. You're watching through a TV episode in real time. And then you might not see that like quick shot with the water bottle. But like, a promo image, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, because it could be on billboards, it could be in newspapers. Like, I don't know if this picture was specifically on a billboard or some sort of like, Times Square promotional or something, but can you imagine if it was this like huge picture of these two actors and this like giant water bottle is like the third thing you notice in the image?
To be the person putting up that billboard and just being like, oh, should I say anything? Do I tell people? We're too far at this point.
Yeah.
We're way past.
It's too late.
Too late.
It's there. People get thirsty. We'll allow it.
I wonder if the camera can see that every time I'm looking at you, I just see this water bottle behind you.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, there's one in the room.
Remember how we said we were going to hide little tidbits?
It might not be in the camera. It might not be just behind that pillar, so it might be fine. But all I can see is that, and we're talking about water bottles.
I'll take a picture of it right now, and I'll cut it in. I'll cut it in post.
It's so funny. I'm just like, oh yeah. Speaking of water bottles,
Gladiator.
Yes.
The second one just came out this year, which honestly I have no interest really in watching. But the first movie, the thing with the second one is like, I would be interested to see if this happened again, this particular mistake, but I almost feel like they probably like did something completely different while filming this time. Because in the first one, they came out in the year 2000, which is actually crazy. I didn't realize the first movie came out that long ago. If you notice, so the film takes place in 180 AD, but obviously they need to use some film trickery to, even make some of the archaic technology work. And so there's a gas canister that can be seen at the end of the first battle. Maximus goes to see his horse, and he strokes the horse and turns around. You can clearly see also a crew member behind them pulling like a rope or a wire. So clearly they used like gas canisters and like crew behind the scenes to like help the chariots along in there.
Yeah.
If you're not looking right where it is, you probably won't see it.
Yeah, and this scene kind of has like a lot of like dust flying around, and it's because they're like going through, and it's supposed to be the horses are pulling, right?
Or the crew is pulling the gas-powered chariot.
Yeah. We don't want to make horses work. I mean, yeah, I'm going to have to go and like really look for that, because again, we talked about this before. We're not really like action movie people. Sorry.
No. I feel like I've seen Gladiator, but it was probably like a long time ago. Again, it's not really my kind of movie.
Yeah. Well, even with the new one out, like I have
no interest.
I think the only thing I was interested in is like, I really do like the actors that are in it. So
they made Joseph Quinn look really silly, though. I'm sorry. He's somewhat of an attractive guy, and blonde is not his hair color. They didn't really do him any favors.
I don't think there was bleach in that time period either. I mean,
that's not natural. Talk about like
not a natural
more QC mistakes in a movie that we haven't seen. Gladiator 2. Yeah. I don't think that character was bleaching his hair. Just saying.
It's the same as like, I'm a natural blonde,
And I'm a natural redhead.
Yeah, no, that ain't a real
that's some bottle bleach.
That's some bottled blonde. That's a bottled blonde.
Untoned bottle blonde. It's
not just from the sun.
No. Be funny if like they say like, oh yeah, I spend a lot of time in the sun. I want that to be a line in the movie now. Isn't that what the Lizzie McGuire movie? They're like, your hair is so blonde. And she's like, sun. I spent a lot of time in the sun.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot about that. That's a great movie. I know. Love that movie.
Hopefully there's a QC mistake in it so we can discuss it. And I can.
True. I'll give it another watch. I'll take any excuse to watch that movie again.
Me too. I know what I'm doing this weekend.
Yeah.
Well, maybe another movie we should watch this weekend is Braveheart.
I have seen Braveheart a couple times.
I've seen the trailer and I've seen the "You can't take my freedom." I'm gonna make that the clip.
Beautiful. You should get into acting.
Thank you.
Not just background acting. I know you did that.
Yeah, we'll talk about my background acting experience when we do the background episode.
Yeah.
I have a few stories.
So yeah, this one's a pretty obvious one, and a lot of people have probably referred to it, is the white car during a time period that's supposed to be, what is it? So it's like during the First War of Scottish Independence against King Edward.
Yeah, so like the late
England.
13th century Scotland.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be very old.
Yeah.
Very old time period. And
but
there's
it's filmed in the
mid-90s. Yes.
So.
Yes. And I mean, that's the thing is like the 90s. I mean, at least you're not seeing a phone, but there was a car.
Yeah.
It is very obvious. Even looking at the image here, I'm like, oh yeah, that's bad. And that's an instance, again, like we've talked about, it's in the corner. I feel like they could probably
punch in.
They could have punched in. Or even painted out, as you said.
Yeah, I mean, literally, there's so many it's so much easier to get rid of a mistake if it's sort of not the focal point of a frame. But when it is, it's so much worse to have to work around it. Like I worked on a show where we had to green screen a lot of monitors. And you didn't realize until the cutting stage that the screen was in so much of the footage. So pretty much every shot ended up having to be a VFX shot because it was never really in a part of the frame where you could just like punch in a little bit to like save some money. Yeah, on a smaller budget show, when you notice that kind of thing while you're working on it, it sucks when you can't just punch in a little bit to like get rid of that little corner that's there.
Exactly. That poor like production designer who like spent so much time on like making that period piece look good, and then a car comes and ruins it.
Yep. You can close down streets and stuff when you're filming, but I feel like this is like a big open field, and sometimes you really just can't stop traffic when it's so far behind where you're filming. So it's more expected, I guess, in a way that you could see a car that far in the background that just happens to drive by, rather than like walking on the street and have someone like clip the camera or have a car be like the wrong model. Because if it's supposed to be so prominently in frame, it's a studio car or it's a background actor. But in this case, I feel like they didn't feel the need to like shut down the road that far behind them. So it's probably just some random person.
Yeah.
And then maybe they even like saw the movie like way down the line and they were like, oh, that's my car, like.
Yeah. Well, I know I've been in the situation where you're like driving down the street and you're like, well, I mean, I don't drive, but pretending someone is driving and I'm sitting in the car and you're like, oh, what are they filming over there? And you like slow down a bit and you're like, what's going on? What are they shooting? What is that?
I would hope if you're driving, you're not like, what's that?
Just crash into one of the chariots for Braveheart. Like, oh, shit. Oops.
You took me freedom.
Took me freedom in my chariot. I don't know. They're, it's, at least they didn't have the fake blonde. That's what I'd be looking at.
No, just the fake Scottish. Which I am outlining an episode about bad accents and like singing replacements in movies. So,
ooh, yeah,
that'll be another one.
Good examples for that.
I will say, I mean, I'm not Scottish enough to give a good statement on this. I don't think his accent was too bad in Braveheart.
Yeah, I will say I'm not as good when it comes to like accents, but
We will move
Stay
on to
track.
a twofer. We've got Oh Brother, Where Art Thou and Newsies.
Ooh, yes. So I included these because again, production design and setting up rooms is so important, especially in a period piece. An exit sign.
Modern exit signs in theaters.
The neon glow, like it screams like modern.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious. And both those films, there are scenes where you see like a bright red glowing exit sign. And it's so obvious and it's unfortunate. They are great movies. I love Brother, Where Art Thou? And Newsies is great too. Love the musical.
Yeah, I haven't seen Newsies. I have seen A Brother, Where Art Thou? It was one of the few I was in a film studies class in high school. And probably one of the only movies we watched that didn't have Bill Murray in it was Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? My high school film teacher had a thing for Bill Murray. I swear to God, we would all be like, she would never say it, but she totally did, because we would either watch, I'm blanking on the director's name, Wes Anderson? We'd either watch a Wes Anderson movie, which are like, makes sense to study that in a film class anyway. But then if she didn't know what to show us, she would just literally put on a movie with Bill Murray. Just because like we watched
Just Garfield.
Yeah, I wish.
Oh, God.
She made us watch Scrooged, and I was like, can we not?
Yeah, no.
But this was one of the few movies I remember she played for us in that class that I actually really liked.
It's so good, and it is really accurate in like a lot of other aspects of the film, for the set direction, the costumes.
Costumes are great. It takes place in the 1930s, which is, it's sort of like a fantastical 1930s.
Yeah.
That doesn't really give them a pass for the exit sign, but it is a good movie. George Clooney in a comedic role is always like entertaining. So
love it.
He's great in that.
I love it.
Newsies I can't speak to really. That's set in 1899. I think I've heard of it, but I've never seen an iteration of it, I don't think. Like play or screen.
Yeah, I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, it's like the Newsboys strike. And it's, full musical, which, I mean, I understand when you're dealing with musicals, you're dealing with
so much
crazy big numbers, dance numbers, and usually big sets, big costumes. There's a lot going on.
A lot of people and things to keep track of.
Yeah. So, like, I can understand. And it is a quick scene. Like, when you're watching it, it's
so fast.
It is fast. And you can see that the actors are more prominent in the scene, but still, it's the glowing, like, you can tell in both situations are like glowing.
Yeah.
Bright glowing exit signs. Like, and then you tell me someone didn't see that.
I know.
The least you could do is turn it off or ask the building.
Maybe in post, if you're not going to paint it out, something.
Yeah. I'm like, if I were on set, I'd probably be like, can we just turn it off just for... And then, like, you can hide it so much more if it's not glowing like that. Because, I mean, some people like us might still notice it, but it would be less noticeable if it wasn't a glowing, bright red light.
Yeah, exactly. Our last example, this is where we're starting to get now into the, like, not so period pieces, but things that are just not, like, decade accurate, I guess, or year accurate. This one... I really like this movie. Actually, I've seen it twice. I saw it once a long time ago, probably around high school time, just on my own, not in film class. And then I watched it again recently. I showed it to Jack because I was like, it's a Richard Linklater movie with Jack Black, and I'm so shocked you haven't seen it. I'd be down to rewatch it. And it's a crazy movie because it's based on a true story. Because Jack Black plays this character, Bernie, who ends up murdering this like wealthy widow named I don't have her name. Marjorie. In my notes, I'm half reading, half trying to just recite this from what I remember of the movie. And because Linklater likes to sort of blend like mundane realism with like screen stories. I swear this will make sense in a second. Basically, it has like office style cutaways of people he's interviewing around the town. And the people he's interviewing are real people. They're the real people who knew the real Bernie and Marjorie. Mm-hmm. So he kind of breaks the fourth wall a little bit with, he has like the actors portraying the main people, but then also has the real people who knew the real people that he talks to. And so it's really cool in that respect. It's also one of the few true crime cases where like this woman was a see you next Tuesday.
Oh.
She was a bitch. Everyone hated her. Uh-huh. And Bernie was kind of like the polar opposite. Like he was a super nice guy. He worked at a funeral home. Like he was the sweetest guy. And so when he murdered her, because he was her only friend, and he killed her, and the town was sort of like, does he have to go to jail for it? They were kind of like, we all kind of get it. You know, no one's really that mad.
Oh, you're making me want to watch this.
I highly recommend it. It was really good.
Yeah. I mean, I love Jack Black, so I feel like it would be right at my alley. And obviously, true crime, also right up my alley.
Richard Linklater teaming up for the second time with Jack Black. I think the first time was School of Rock. So
yes.
They do work well together as an actor-director duo. But unfortunately, the one QC thing I have to point out about this movie, it's pretty low on the spectrum of QC mistakes, but it's still a mistake because it's recounting a true story. I mean, not that it has to be set in the 90s, but it's being shot like well after the events took place, which is like mid 90s. There's a scene where a character is getting a call on an iPhone that is like released in 2007.
Yeah.
But it's in a movie that's set in the mid 90s. We've talked before too about, what iPhones can signify in media, how like you'll usually never see a character with bad intentions using an Apple product. So I do believe this was Bernie's phone, if I remember correctly. That's not really a spoiler. I already said he's like the nicest guy. Nobody hates him. He's not a bad guy. He does kill someone, but whatever. Watch the movie. It's a gray area. Whatever. He kills someone. Who cares?
That's fine.
Watch the movie. You'll agree. She had it coming.
She had it coming. She had it coming.
But yeah, it's an instance where, I mean, even if you didn't have an iPhone, I feel like you'd probably watch this movie and go, I don't think there were iPhones in the mid 90s. I had I didn't have a phone in the 90s. What am I saying? My first phone I had was like a little.
I was gonna say we're born. We're born in the mid 90s.
I got a phone when I was
babies.
I got a phone pretty early though, because I was a latchkey kid. Oh, so I would walk from school to and from school by myself. So my parents gave me like the only numbers in the phone were theirs or 911, Yeah. Like, and it was like pre-smartphone. It was like, that's literally all I could do on the phone was call people.
I'm also just looking at the image here too. And why is Jesus on?
Because he works in a funeral home. I forget who that person is. I'd have to watch the movie again.
So he keeps Jesus on his phone for like what? For good vibes?
It might be the contacts photo.
Who is Jesus calling him?
L. Hornbuckle is calling him?
I need to see this movie because
you really do.
Why is the contact Jesus? Or if it's his phone background, I don't know why is Jesus on
it might be the person's contact photo. I don't remember if old iPhones did that, but like if you were to call me right now, your contact photo would come up on my screen.
So that is probably what it is. But why? What's the significance of that?
I don't know. Even if I remembered, I wouldn't tell you because I want you to go watch the movie because it's a good movie.
Right. Well,
I remember I didn't like it the first time I watched it because I was like, the people they interview are horrible actors. And then I actually was like, oh, wait, they're real people. That's why they're not good actors.
I'm going to change your photo to Jesus in my phone.
Oh, fuck you. I'm changing yours back to baby Janae when you were dressed up like Sailor Moon then.
Sailor Moon,
It's a nice picture of us at a beer festival right now, but now it's going to be baby you as Sailor Moon again. Or if I can find the still of you doing the...
No, I don't ever want to see that photo again. Worst photo of me
I think
ever.
I want to see it now every time you call me, so I think...
No.
I might change it to that.
I shouldn't have reminded you of that.
Oh, I never forgot.
I regret.
Instant regret.
Instant regret. Something my partner says all the time.
All the time. He always says it?
Always says it. No, he doesn't. He gets mad when I say that he always does something. So no, he sometimes says it. He says it enough that we've all joked about it. So
he's not mic'd right now, so he can't stand up for himself.
No, he can't.
But he's here and he can hear us.
Sorry. Love you. So I figured we could talk about kind of other noticeable things in time period pieces.
Smaller examples.
Yeah, kind of things that might not be like, it's not really an object, but are visibly like that doesn't
look right.
Yeah, it doesn't fit the time period. It stands out. It takes you out of the experience.
Yeah.
So some examples I wanted to bring up. Because last year, I guess, or was it last year or 2 years ago? Oppenheimer was huge. Biggest movie. It was.
Yeah, I think that was last year.
Barbenheimer was like a whole thing, going to the theater to see both.
I saw Oppenheimer and VIP. I did not see Barbie in the theater.
See, I was opposite. I saw Barbie and I waited till Oppenheimer came out to see it. Well, when that movie came out, a lot of people were kind of talking about the fact that Emily Blunt, who co-stars in
one
the
of
film.
2 women in the whole movie.
Yes, I noticed that. That's why I favor Barbie. No
and
offense.
they both dated Oppenheimer. Not Barbie. I mean, the 2 women in Oppenheimer both dated Oppenheimer.
Yeah. But yeah, so a lot of people were kind of like, oh, she has a lot of like modern features to today. Like she has noticeably like altered her like eyebrows and her like, not to totally point it out, but it is obvious that she's gotten filler done. She's gotten Botox. It's to the point that people really noticed and did not fit that time period at all.
Yeah, that really, I've kind of, there's a lot of actresses that do that are in like period stuff or are meant to be like, you know, poor in something or like lower class. And it's like, you've had so much work done to your face though.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, Emily Blunt isn't
nothing against
a situation where it's like normally something that I'm distracted by. Like she looks good.
Yeah.
But yeah, in something that's like a time period thing, because I remember watching it and again, there's only 2 women basically in the whole movie. And even Florence Pugh a little bit, not because she's had work done or anything, but there was nothing really that specific about either of them that jumped out to me of being like, oh, that's super of the time period. They just looked like women.
Yeah.
You know, like if you showed me a screenshot, I wouldn't automatically be like, oh, that's in this time period. But it was just a little more noticeable with Emily Blunt.
I don't think they spent enough time making sure that those characters looked of the time. Like I would say they spent a lot more time on other characters, and even like Einstein is in it.
Looks a lot like Einstein.
It's like Einstein. So I'm like, they clearly put in effort in some places.
They were a bit kinder to the women they cast as the real women than they were with the men looking like the actual people.
Yeah. You know, I have nothing against people who want to get filler, Botox, go for it. But I think if you're kind of an actor or an actress who really wants to go into the field of like working in period pieces, it's going to be noticeable. And I mean, nowadays, like, cameras are so good. You can see everything in someone's face. Like, doesn't hide it.
Every removed wrinkle from that Botox.
That's why I will never be an actress, because I don't want anyone right up in my face. Okay?
Oh, calm down. This whole segment, I'm just going to have it be an extreme close-up of your face.
Stop. I will quit. I will quit the podcast if you do that.
Sorry.
Bridgerton is a huge one for it. I've watched all the seasons of Bridgerton. The most recent season with Nicola Collin. Collin, I hope that's how it's pronounced. Coughlin. I would say for most of the show, she looked period accurate. And then her season where she was the main focal point, they really dolled her up. So she had like fake lashes and like a full like acrylic manicure, which would not be of the time. Like it's not.
This is going to sound really weird, but we already kind of made Jack feel awkward with the whole lav in her chest thing. I always notice people's hands in movies and TV. And I notice how, like, a lot of the time, like, I guess in a good way, like, they have like almost no nail, like especially women will have like stubs usually. So I feel like it's something that I don't know if they're told usually that they need to have like neutral nails, even if it's like a period thing or if it's like a modern thing. Like,
Yeah, you
I just
should.
always find there's nothing, you know, special about people's hands unless there needs to be, right? So like if it's perfectly manicured or if it's something that like, yeah, like you were saying, I don't think they were doing acrylics like way back then.
No.
That's something I would notice watching it. I haven't seen Bridgerton, but I will say my one thing about shows and TV, brilliant shows and movies, like that, they're always too clean. They always look like they're wearing costumes.
Yeah.
Or like their hair was just hairsprayed before they yelled action.
Yeah. It's a little too like perfect.
Like I know they're rich, but like you'll have a hair out of place every now and again, right? You know?
Yeah. And I mean, the one thing I do love about Bridgerton is like they do put in a lot of effort into like the hairstyles and the costuming. All looks really good. But I think, you know, you do have to kind of go, okay, well, for this time period, they wouldn't have beautifully long eyelashes that don't look natural.
Yeah.
Like you can enhance someone's features and have the makeup, but, you know, try and keep it time period accurate. I think the only difference is like Bridgerton can kind of get away with it because the show already incorporates so many modern elements, like turning modern songs.
I was going to say
like,
they have modern songs that are pre-arranged, right?
Yeah, they like do like an orchestral piece of like Pipple song. Like it's I'm not even kidding. Yeah.
I need to watch just that episode now because that sounds hilarious.
It's so good. But I mean, it does that, so you can kind of forgive it. But I mean, someone who is like really attuned to like period pieces, like people who love like, you know,
Game of Thrones.
Like, you're a huge like Jane Austen fan, like, and you watch Bridgerton because you like stories of that time period, and then you're like, the girls wouldn't look that good.
Yeah.
They look good, but they wouldn't look that good.
They wouldn't have had a Netflix budget level beauty regime.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was noticed. A lot of people pointed it out online. But it is what it is. She looked beautiful. Yeah. She really looked beautiful.
We're not saying she looks bad. We're just saying she doesn't look period accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. The movie Pride and Prejudice. A lot of people talk about Donald Sutherland's teeth in that movie. Because that's another thing that people like notice. If your teeth are like noticeably white or you have veneers.
Yeah.
It would not be of the time.
Which a lot of people are getting more. I know this is like an older example, kind of. But yeah, a lot of actors are getting veneers nowadays. So that's going to start coming up a lot more, I feel like.
Everyone wants that really bright, white, perfect smile.
Yeah.
Which is great. But not in a time period piece.
No. It comes back to what I was saying about Bridgerton's. Like, they all look a little too polished. It's like, yeah, I don't think Donald Sutherland was getting his teeth bleached in the Pride and Prejudice canon of the story. I haven't seen it, but I'm sure now if I ever do, that's all I'm going to be looking at.
Yeah. They're noticeably white. I mean, he doesn't have, like, perfect teeth. Like, they're not, like...
They're too perfect for the time, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Just how white they are. It's like no one else's teeth were that white.
No.
I mean, like, good for him.
Sure.
But... didn't look great for Pride and Prejudice, okay?
R.I.P., no disrespect. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. Great actor. But, I mean, he'll be known forever for his very white teeth.
I'll have to
and great acting.
I was going to say.
Great acting, too.
I'll have to go back and see if they're scarily white in the Hunger Games movies, but I feel like that would have made more sense, actually.
Yeah, that fits the character. Because he's like...
Snow.
Yeah, Snow. He like was very unnerving. So very white teeth can be...
I'll be disappointed if they aren't super white when I go back and watch it, honestly.
Yeah. Well, the thing about teeth, like, it can be, like, that can be part of makeup. Like, you can fix the teeth to be, like, to the character. Like, if a character is supposed to be, I don't know, say they're like a drug addict or
a pirate.
Or someone who's not having good dental hygiene. Like you can add, there's stuff that like the actor can coat on their teeth and the makeup artist can coat on the teeth to make them look more yellow or dirtied or, you know, they don't have to be that white. And like the movie Babylons, this was the example I added. I guess for that movie, they wanted the characters, because like Margot Robbie has beautiful white teeth, and like they wanted it to not be as noticeable. So he actually got the makeup artist to yellow their teeth a little bit.
Really?
And requested that so that it would be more time period accurate to like, it's like the 1920s.
Yeah, it's like old Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right?
So, I mean, there can be effort put into little details like that, you know, would help you set yourself in that scene and the time period. And like even like eyebrows are a huge one.
Yeah.
Like eyebrows have changed so much over decades and like how people do them.
Even since like we were younger.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as we were talking about earlier, we're 90s babies.
Yes.
And in the 90s, like everyone had pencil thin brows.
So ugly.
Tweezed and tweezed and tweezed. So they were just like
almost not there. They were still there, but almost not there.
Everyone's still recovering a bit from that.
I know. We overcorrected and now they're like so bushy.
Yeah, that's true. That's the thing. It went like the complete opposite way. So, I mean, that's a huge giveaway. Like, you could be watching a time period piece and you're like, yeah, she over-tweezed her brows. That doesn't look right. Or, like, you could have the full, bushy, really shaped, beautiful, like...
modern, penciled in.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't think they did that.
We were talking earlier about how I mentioned I just watched Y2K, and then I was comparing it to Time Cut, the Netflix like slasher time travel movie that I didn't see. I saw Totally Killer, which was almost the same movie, different, slightly different story, but Time Cut goes back to the early 2000s, and Totally Killer goes back to the 80s. But in any case, the Time Cut movie, from what I've seen of it, it goes back to like what looks like a staged early 2000s. Like there's something a little too punched into each scene of like, okay, not everyone wore like crop tops and like low-rise jeans to school, or you know what I mean? Like it hit all these like buzzword points about the 2000s, but it still looked wrong. Yeah. But one thing that Y2K did get right was the style. But now that I'm thinking about it, Rachel Zegler's eyebrows were not 90s. They were not 1999.
Yeah.
That was like maybe the one thing that now that I'm thinking back on it wasn't hugely accurate. But I found like a lot of the wardrobe and like music choices and the settings and stuff for the most part felt pretty good. But
yeah, that's the thing about like a movie film today, and if it's going to be about the 90s, girls don't want to give up their brows again. They don't want to pluck that shit.
She may have been filming Snow White around that time too, so like maybe she was like, contractually, I am not plucking these eyebrows, which like honestly probably wouldn't have suited her face. Probably a good call.
Wow, I have a lot of issues with the hair and makeup in that movie as well.
Oh, Snow White, yeah, her Lord Farquaad cut.
Oh,
that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. To do production design and like get period accurate like set pieces and props and all that, like hair and makeup is just as like important.
Oh yeah, wardrobe, all that stuff. Like people are gonna notice, especially wardrobe on main characters and hair and makeup. Like they're gonna be the focal point of scenes. So you're really gonna notice if something they're wearing or
and no one's saying use lead poisoned makeup, but you know,
like Wizard of Oz, where half those characters got cancer from face paint.
Yeah, you don't have to use like makeup from that time period physicui,
but make the look time period accurate with makeup that doesn't have lead in it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that kind of brings us to, we're going to start introducing the segment, because I realized when you film a couple podcast episodes, you're like, I'm making these in order in post, but people can watch, like they're not sequential. You can watch Star Wars, whatever episode you want, unless it's a two-parter. Like don't start with Scream Part 2 without watching Part 1. please.
Yeah, the first one's always the best.
First one, you can't fuck with the original.
Yeah.
But yeah, so at the end of every episode, we do this segment where when we were QC as a job, when we did it for work, we had a leveling system, and that leveling system would be a 1, 2, or a 3. A level 1 would be like, it's not make or break, but we noticed it. It's pretty small, probably fine, but take a look.
Yeah.
A level 2 is like, yeah, it's pretty distracting, but if you guys sign off on it, then we're okay to air it that way as long as you guys have like approved and understand that this mistake is here. Mm-hmm. And a level 3 is like, yeah, this can't air this way. Yeah, it's too distracting.
Fix that shit.
Yeah, fix that shit. Exactly.
And that's, I mean, that was part of our job, is what we were hired for. And
it fits great in a podcast format because it's a good way of wrapping up what we've talked about and sort of fit our examples into that leveling system as best we can. We are a little more lenient because we're not getting paid to do this leveling. It's not make or break. Yeah. So we do give ourselves the leeway of half levels as well.
Oh yeah.
But
when we worked the job, it was, you know, it hadn't been, a lot of the stuff hadn't been aired yet. A lot of the things we cover have been aired. They've been out for a long time. Yes. So it's like, it's all fun and games.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes we agree and sometimes we don't.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if we agree or disagree with this week's topic.
Let's start with Game of Thrones, because that was kind of the feature of this episode.
Yeah.
I think it's a 3 because it was, especially the coffee cup, so front and center, right in front of your lead actress. Everyone noticed it.
It made news headlines. Like a QC mistake on a huge budget, hugely popular show made the news. And that means that not just people who enjoy watching television noticed, it means everybody noticed.
Yeah.
And if it's a mistake that can be so notable by people who like don't have that kind of training to look for that stuff, then it's absolutely a level 3 because it takes you out of it. It could be such a serious scene happening and then you notice a coffee cup and then if it's airing laughing on TV, you can't go back and look and then you miss stuff and it's like, you probably were watching Game of Thrones anyway, so it's not like, you know.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you know,
level 3, 100%.
All the way. Should not have gone through. Somebody fucked up.
Yeah, I remember when that came out, like my initial thought was, ooh, someone lost their job.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't catch that before it went to air, you're getting a scolding.
Yeah.
Definitely level 3, guys. Come on.
Yeah, that's not disputable. We heavily agree on that one for once.
Yeah, the gas tank on the back of the chariot.
That's a 2 for me because I feel like when we were discussing it and when I look back at the clip and when I'm doing the editing and I'm putting it in and all that stuff, that's what she said. It's so quick.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hidden by sand that's like a similar color that I feel like it's kind of a famous one, but it's also kind of an excusable one. And I'll liken that to the example that's right afterwards with the Braveheart. Mm-hmm. It's a similar tone in the background that if your eye is not already drifting down that way, you might not notice it because it's so on the precipice of the frame that it's easy to miss. So I think I would put both of those at a level 2.
Level 2. Yeah, I agree with you.
For similar reasons.
I think they're level 2 because it's not as apparent. You have to be really good to catch those ones. Yeah, I think level 2 is fair. It would be like you should look at this, see if you want to do something about it, because you might want to, but if you don't.
Signed off on it, then you signed off on it.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Then it's your fault.
It's on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Little Women with the Stanley cup and the water bottle.
Yeah, in the same frame, like they're both like in front of and beside each other.
Yeah. I think I put this one as a level 3 as well. Just because, like, I think, well, as you said, like, if it's two things in frame, like, I think you could go back and remove that. Or try to.
And they're in the same spot too, so it would be like one swoop. You could get rid of both of them. It's a pretty static scene too, so I feel like it'd be a simple paint out. I'm going to give it...
Unlike like Braveheart and Gladiator. So those are older movies. They probably were shot on film, right?
Probably.
So like it would be harder to go back versus Little Women. It's 2019. You can go back.
Unless they shot that on film, a lot of movies are skewing back towards that.
They are, but I don't know if that one was. I'd have to look into it, actually. I'm sorry. I wish I
That's
knew.
one that is a gray area for me. It could be either one.
Wish I knew. That's where we need Jack to look up really quick.
Jack,
can you just look up really quick? Is Little Women 2019, was it film or just digital? So I would say, yeah, if it wasn't shot on film, then I think surely you can go back, fix that. Kind of like what they did with Game of Thrones. Like, why not?
Yeah.
You have a period piece, and it's a really good one. Like, it's a great movie. And they did so much work and put so much work into it. I think they could go back.
Yeah,
and
I
fix
think
that.
so. And I saw that one in the theater, so.
Yeah. So I think, like, for me, it's level 3.
I'm going to give it a 2.5, only because of the similar reason for Braveheart and Gladiator, but not to the same extent. Well, it's on the edge of a frame. Okay. So it's not... it's one of those, like I said, if your eye's drifting, you're going to notice it. But if you're focusing on Timothée Chalamet, then you're not going to probably notice it. But if it's, because my eyes tend to water when I'm crying. My eyes tend to wander if I've seen a movie before.
Sad.
It's
Little Women's so sad. Lisa's crying the whole time.
Not sad in parts of it. No, my eyes tend to wander if I've seen a movie before.
Yeah.
That's when I'm looking at other parts of a frame.
Yeah.
Not usually on a first viewing. It's not as subtle as Braveheart and Gladiator, but it's not as egregious as Game of Thrones. So I kind of put it in the middle for me.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
It was shot in 35 millimeter. Yes.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was shot on film, yeah.
Well, in that case, I'll drop mine.
What?
Did I say that?
Oops. So loud. Milliliter? Shut up.
My eyes are watering in 30 milliliter.
Okay, well, in that case, since it was shot on film, I feel like I should drop mine down to a 2. Because, yeah, it's harder to go back.
It is harder to go back on film.
So, yeah, 2, I'll agree with you.
Yeah.
Downton Abbey, though. That one,
that's
I think
a 3. It's such a simple promo photo with not a lot else going on that even a little bit of attention to detail on the editing of the photo, you should have caught that water bottle. That one's a little bit inexcusable because, like I said, it's a promotional photo that could be used in print or on billboards. It can be super, super tiny or it can be incredibly blown up. And a little thing like that being in such like the forefront of the image, it just is like, really?
Yeah, no.
It's
a 3.
Yeah.
Said and done. It's a 3.
Yep.
And I feel the same way about the exit signs in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou and
the Newsies. Yeah.
Because bright red exit signs, I'm sorry, that's so bad.
Yeah.
Do something about it. Even if you couldn't on the day, on set, after, post.
Exactly. Yeah. Just like, again, if you don't have the budget to paint it out, desaturate it and lower the like up the contrast, lower the brightness, like something. You could probably get rid of it in color even. I'm not like a color, I can't think of words today.
That's okay.
I don't know the ins and outs of color, but I know.
Colorist?
Yeah, I'm not a colorist. But
well,
I feel like it wouldn't be that difficult to hide it in that sense in color if you don't have the VFX budget to do that.
Yeah, no. The minimal knowledge that we got of coloring, I would say it's doable and they should have done it.
Yes.
We don't have to rate the...
No, I think we already kind of like...
Yeah.
I think it's an all-encompassing 3 because it could be such an easy fix. It's just someone not paying... I don't want to say not paying enough attention, but like somewhere in the artistic direction, somebody said, don't worry about it,
Things like that are so much harder to deal with. You can, as I said, you can yellow teeth.
Yeah, but you can't really force an actress to take filler out of their face or get rid of their veneers for a role. Like, just don't cast them if you care so much about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Bernie, again, it's not really a period. It is, oh God, like we are getting to that age where the 90s are becoming a period, but
it is.
It's 90s, a period piece now, I guess. I think technology is so, it's obvious when it's an older iPhone versus like a newer iPhone, but I feel like it probably wouldn't not have jumped out to me being like, is that a 2006 iPhone? Like, I might go, I don't know if that was around in the 90s, but I don't know if I'd be like, that's a whole like decade and a half later kind of.
I mean, because this is kind of, it's like a smartphone, right?
Yeah, a smartphone in the 90s,
really
it doesn't
make sense.
Fit. So I think, like, I guess you're right, yeah, because smartphones weren't a thing in the 90s. So even if it's like a model of iPhone thing, it's more about the advancement of technology not being there yet.
I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, it's 2.53.
Yeah, no, I agree, because it makes me think.
Like, smartphone versus like 90s were like, what, early flip phones? Like, it was not like this.
It makes me think of movies and TV like It Follows and like Zoe 101, where they have their own version of technology that they use. Like, a Pearphone is obviously meant to be an iPhone, but it's their own brand. So they can argue it's whatever year specific because it's not a real brand. Yeah. And like the shell phone in It Follows is just its own thing, because that movie is meant to be time period ambiguous, which is smart, because then you don't get caught up on things like this.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter. It can't matter, because we don't know when it's supposed to be taking place. It has modern technology, but nothing specific enough that you could poke holes in a timeline. Being a child in the 90s, smartphones were far from being a thing.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think it's, maybe more 3 then, because I feel like that's kind of a detail that would be. And you said it's kind of, I mean, again, I need to see the movie, but you said it's based on like a actual
It's based
crime.
on a true story, yeah.
So if you're doing something that is kind of more based on truth and unlike, a fantasy type show.
Well, Braveheart's also, I think, based on true events.
Yeah.
Maybe Gladiator too? Yeah. Loosely. But Bernie is based on like, a couple decades ago this happened. So.
And it's such a close-up shot of it too.
Yes.
That, that makes it all more prominent as well. So maybe
and I'm sure it comes up multiple times in the movie. I'd have to watch it again.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
3.
We're pretty
much agreed on everything this time.
Wow. Look at us.
Wow.
Who'd have thought?
Wow.
All
right. Well, that's our episode today.
The original episode 1, that's now episode 6.
Yeah. They're getting all moved around. That's okay, though.
The outline numbers mean nothing anymore, but I keep them sequential as I write them anyway, just for my own benefit. But.
Thanks for listening again.
Yeah.
We really enjoy doing this. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, keep telling us things that you notice. We like to see people point out stuff.
Like we said, you'll probably get a shout out if you mention one to us. So that's incentive, maybe. Hear your name on a podcast.
Yeah.
I'd find that cool. Maybe you'd also find that cool. Help us. No, I'm kidding. A lot of these outlines are fairly simple to put together, but sometimes, like we've said, there's stuff that we don't notice, and maybe you guys have like a favorite one that you're like, oh, I can't believe you haven't talked about this one in relation to that topic, and we'd love to hear it, because we probably would love to talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe we do know it and completely forgot about it. That's also possible. So
we love mistakes.
We do. Keep making them.
That's why we're here. We like to point them out and rate them.
It makes us feel better about the mistakes that we've made.
Yeah, exactly. None of us are perfect.
No.
But
neither is Hollywood.
No. All right. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
We're the Quality Control Chicks.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye. Quality Control Chicks podcast is produced and co-hosted by Lisa Cumming
and Janae Perez.
Audio mix and master by Jack Rudy.
You can follow us on Instagram at Quality Control Chicks Pod for BTS, bonus content, and clips.
You can give us a watch or listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anywhere you listen to your favorite shows.